Hello, this is Daniel Wolf. I'm here to give you a video overview of the assessment tool Socrative. Socrative is a formative assessment tool that's designed to engage students with formative assessment and make the formative assessment process more efficient and more effective for teachers so they can better use data they receive to guide instruction. So I want to show you how you would create a Socrative account, how you would create a classroom, create quizzes, launch those quizzes for students. I want to show you what the student view looks like, showed you how to access the reports and the feedback, the data, and then tell you just briefly how I use this in class. So let's get started. We're going to go to the teacher page. So I'm going to go to Socrative, Google that. Socrative, here's the home page. So if you want to create an account, you would go to Get Account. Recommend choosing the free version. Unless you find something to be really limiting, you can look into Pro. I use the free version. Click Get Free. You would fill out this information, next, all that, and create your account. I'm not going to show you that now. We'll go to My Teacher account so we can begin talking about how you use this tool. So pretty basic home screen. We're going to be talking about these tabs up here when we talk about how to use this tool. So first, you have to have a classroom created. So I'm going to go to Rooms, and here I have my classroom, Wolf Tech. An unfortunate thing about the free version is that you can only create one room. This is a problem, really only if you want to give a quiz after school maybe for students and you teach multiple subjects. So you can't make more than one quiz live at one time. And so that could be a problem. But if you want to give quizzes in class or you only teach one subject, then this is not a problem at all. The room name is important. You want to make the room name kind of specific to you or easily identifiable as your room name and make it relatively short and simple because students will type in this exact room name to access any quiz that you launch. Okay, so I've created a room. Let's talk about how I would create a quiz. And so the quizzes obviously that's the assessment tool. Send out a quiz maybe as the end of a lesson to check how well they understood something, maybe at the beginning of a lesson to check mastery of some concepts from the day before. I have a few here that we can look at in a moment, but here's how you would create one. So you would click Add Quiz, Create New, give it a name, and choose these options: multiple choice, true, false, or a short answer. It would take you through a few other simple options. We won't go through that now, but I will show you what some quizzes look like. So here's a computer hardware quiz. Give to some students about computer vocabulary, really simple. I just made it 5 questions, multiple choice, have some pictures on there just to check how well they understood some vocabulary. Here's another one for computer science. This one is open-ended, short answer. Can you explain or describe some of these concepts? Just 4 questions. For my computer science students. So you have some quizzes. So you created a classroom, you have some quizzes. Now it's time to go launch these quizzes to students in your class. So I'd return to the Launch tab up here, and I'm going to launch a quiz. Now, if you want to do an exit ticket, you could launch that. It's open-ended and allows you to kind of put a question on the board for students then to type in an answer on the computer. But we'll look at quizzes for right now. I'm going to send out the computer hardware check. And so what you're doing is you're taking a quiz and you're making it live and putting it out there for students to go access on the computer, through the app on an iPad. They could even go through an app or the internet on their phone if you choose. So computer hardware check, I'm going to hit next. A few options. I'm going to choose instant feedback. You could click on the I for more information about each one. This means students are going to do this now. I'm going to get the feedback right now. You can require names or make it anonymous, just depends. If you want to show these results to the whole class, I would recommend making it anonymous so students do not feel pressure or students don't get made fun of. If you are going to be the only one that reviews this data, you can turn the names on so that you see which student did, the results for a specific student. You could choose to shuffle answers or questions, whatever. There's just a few options. So I'm going to go and hit start. So what I've done, I've launched this quiz. This is the feedback, a table of feedback I'll be receiving once students begin taking it. And I noticed these 2 white kind of lines popping up, that means the quiz is live and it's out there and it's ready for students to take. So once you've launched it, you want to direct students to go either into the app or go search Socrative student on Google. It should be the first option, and it brings students directly to a login screen. This is where they type in that room name, Wolf Tech. Hit join, and it immediately sends them to whatever quiz you've launched. And so I enabled name, so I'll put Billy, and it sends them to the quiz, whatever quiz it is that you have made live. And so this is what it looks like. So I can answer the quiz. It's giving some immediate feedback, no good. So what this does, this is the student view, but what the teacher will be viewing is some live feedback. So notice Billy's name popped up and how he's doing is now showing. And so obviously the more students join, the longer this table will be. And so that's kind of what the live feedback looks like. So I'm just going to finish this out real quick, click through some answers. When the student finishes, it will show this screen. Hey, you've completed this activity, waiting on your teacher. At this point, I would probably tell my students just to close out. When you're done, close out and get ready to close my quiz. So right now it's still live. I want to hit finish. When all my students are done, or I said, hey, you got 5 minutes are up, I'm going to finish. I'm going to take this quiz down. It's no longer going to be live. And this gives me some options. I can go straight to my reports. I can view the data chart or go back to the launch screen. Let's view the data chart. So I've just finished, and let's say, hey, students, I want us to look at the data. All right, this didn't end it for me. Let me make sure I end that. All right, here we go. So this shows me a chart. Obviously, this is just my one student. I could choose to show the names. I could choose to show the answers. We could review this as a class. But let's go look at a report from a class quiz that I'd given out last semester. So if you want to go back to report, they're all stored. I would go to the reports tab. Here's the computer hardware check that I gave in August of 2017. So let's look at it. I could view the chart. And again, here we go. I could click show names. I had this anonymous, so students' names don't show up, and show their answers. So it shows me how each individual student did. I don't know which student is which, their scores, but maybe most importantly, it shows me the percentage of each question that was correct. So I can tell which concepts or which questions they did really well on, which ones they struggled with, could go back and reteach as I need. I'm going to return to reports, go back to this check. You can also download under Get Reports in a PDF version or some other ways. You can email it to yourself. I downloaded one as an Excel spreadsheet, and this is what it looks like. So very similar, but just broken down in an Excel chart if I wanted to save this or print this off in some way. So it shows the questions, shows the answers, and again, percentages on the bottom of how students did on each individual question, total scores, the names are disabled. So you could save that, print it out if you would need to. Okay, so how do I use this in my classroom? I just taught about the problem-solving process this past week, and so I'm curious as to how much my students retained. Could they explain the problem-solving process back to me? So what I'm going to do is when we go to school, whenever we get back into school next, when it warms up, it's going to be my starter activity for my computer science students. I'm going to launch this quiz before they walk into the classroom. I'm going to give them instructions to log into the computer, to go to Socrative student, and to type in my class name and take the quiz. And so they'll take this as their bell ringer activity. When I walk in the room, give them maybe 5 minutes to finish up, stop it, and then we'll kind of review the results together and use it as a time to quickly review. Hey, did you remember the problem-solving process really well? Maybe you remembered the define portion, but you totally forgot what it means to reflect. And we'll just use that for me as a quick overview and just reminder as we launch into using the problem-solving process in a new way. And so again, many ways you could use this, but a really simple formative assessment tool that could be used in lots of ways.